to the Siddhas, liberate soul free from the cycle of birth and death. I bow to the Acharyas, the master and head of the Jain order. I bow to the Upadhyas, the teacher who spread the knowledge of scriptures. I bow to the Sadhus, the monk who practice self-discipline. This fivefold obeisance destroys all the sins and is the most auspicious all benedictions. Thank you.
Thank you, Anantvir, for giving us a good start.
Now we have Arham Jain as a first speaker, who is going to cover the most important topic of Jainism, which is Teen Lok. And I requested Arham Jain to come forward for his speech.
Jai Jinendra to all, respected chairman, honorable chief guest, judges and all loving audience. Uh, Today's seminar's topic is Dhaidweep, the unprecedented structure, in which my topic is the introduction of three worlds. Today I feel privileged to talk about a profound and ancient concept known as three world, three lok. This idea helps us to understand how the universe is structured, not just structurally but also spiritually. It has no beginning and no end. It nor created by anyone and neither be destroyed. So first of all, we have to know about lok. What is lok? There is a definition in Sanskrit for explaining lok. It is Shad Dravyaha Lokyante iti Lokaha. Here, the word Lokyante, it means to be seen. The meaning of whole definition is a space which is a consist of six dravyas, or we can say a space where six dravyas are to be seen. There are three worlds, or we can say there are three lok: Urdhvalok, Madhyalok, Adholok. So let us now explore these parts of lok. First is upper world, also called as Urdhvalok. The upper world is the region where heavenly beings reside. Heavenly beings means Dev. Then it is a peaceful, vivid space made up of 16 heavenly realms. There are 16 heavenly realms: Saudharm, Eshan, Sanat Kumar, Mahendra, Brahma, Brahmotar, Lantav, Kapist, Satar, Sahasrar, Shukra, Mahashukra, Anat, Pranat, Aran, and Achyut. These are the 16 heavenly realms. If we go up from these 16 realms, there are 9 Anudesh, 9 Gravyak, and 5 Anuttar Viman. Above all of these, there is a Siddhishala, a zone beyond birth and death. This is the final destination for the soul, and a soul who freed themselves from all the karmas. Only that soul can come in Siddhishala. Here, the soul, here there is no rebirth, no attachment, and but only infinite knowledge, happiness, and peace. Now we have discussed about the upper world. Second is the middle world, also called as Madhyalok. The middle world is where we currently live. This is the world of human beings, animals, insects, or plants, etc. Including continents. In Hindi we can say Dweep, and oceans and other diverse forms of life or land. Various lands are here. What makes it special? It is a special realm because it is the world only from where a soul can attain liberation, freedom from the endless cycle of birth and death. Particularly, human is considered very rare and valuable because it provides the opportunity for self-awareness, discipline, and spiritual practice. This is the only realm where one can choose a path of non-violence, truth, and detachment. Now, we will discuss about third part of Lok. It is Adolok, also called as lower world. This part of the universe consists of multiple layers of hellish realms. Souls who committed intense violence or cruelty may be born here for the punishment because of their collection of bad or negative karmas. There are 16, there are 7 hellish layers of there are 7 layers of hellish realms. Ratna Prabha, Sharkara Prabha, Valuka Prabha, Pank Prabha, Dhoom Prabha, Tam Prabha, and Mahatam Prabha. However, even this world is not the eternal punishment. Once the accumulated negative or bad karmas are exhausted, the soul can rise again in better worlds, also in human life. This understanding shows that no soul is ever lost forever. There is always hope as long as one is willing to change and purify his actions. Now, in the middle parts of 3 worlds, there is a narrow vertical or cuboid-like structure called Trasnadi that runs through the middle world where beings with 2 to 5 senses called Trasjivas exist. This include animals, humans, etc. Some other insects which can feel pain and have more developed senses. Out of the Trasnadi, there are one sensed jivas called sthavar. So we have discussed about 3 lokas and Trasnadi. Now someone can ask, why should we learn about or understand about these 3 lok? Because it helps us to understand that consequences depends on our actions. This human life as well as Jainism is a rare opportunity. Every soul has the power to rise from darkness to light. The conclusion of the topic is that from the depths of the lower world and to the peak of upper world, every soul is on a path shaped by its own karmas. But only in the middle world, especially in human form, one can make conscious choice to rise above from ignorance, attachment, and anger. Let us utilize this opportunity. Let us strive to live with awareness that the ultimate goal is not just to reach a better world, but to become free from the life cycle and all the karmas, from the life cycle and all together, and live with infinite happiness. Thank you all for your attention. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Arham. We got to know what is Teen Lok, who live in Teen Lok, where is Teen Lok, and what is Trasnani.
Now move towards. We have Rajan Nidate. He is going to cover his topic, which is general introduction of Dhaideep.
द्वीप अढ़ाई जिनायतन आकर्षक अति देव्य अंदर बाहर से लगे सुंदर व अति भव्य. Judgment to all present here, the chairman, the chief guest, honorable chairman, chief guest, judges and dear listeners. Today I am going to present you the general introduction of Dhaideep, in which we will cover some topics like how many dweeps are there, how many samudras are there, where it is located, etc. So let us start with our seminar. There is uncountable continents and oceans in Madhyalok, or middle world, in which there is one Jambu Dweep, after that one Lavan Samudra, and Dhatki Khand Dweep, Kalodadi Samudra, and after that there is Pushkarvar Dweep. When we combine this all, we get the one structure named Dhaidweep. So now we will know what is the area of Dhaidweep. The area of Dhaidweep is of 45 lakh yojan, in which 45 lakh yojan. This structure lies in between of Madhyalok or middle world. One fact is that this structure is neither created by anyone nor destroyed by anyone. Means we can say that this structure is akritrim or natural or unartificial. So one Jambu Dweep, one Dhatki Khand Dweep, and half Pushkarar Dweep makes Dhaidweep. So are you arising one question that why do we call Pushkarvar Dweep as Pushkarar Dweep? Because the Pushkarvar Dweep is divided by Manushottar mountain or Manushottar Parvat from all directions. That's why this is known as Pushkarar Dweep. Pushkar means Pushkarvar, and Ardh means half. So going further to the first Dweep, there is Jambu Dweep. There is one tree located in it which is known as Jambu Vriksh. Because of this tree only this Dweep is named as the Jambu Dweep. Then the area of this Dweep is of 1 lakh yojan, in which there are 6 Mahaparvats and 7 Kshetras. These 6 Mahaparvats divide this Jambu Dweep into 7 Kshetras. So what are these 6 Kshetras? 7 Kshetras. We will know that. So first is Bharat, then Hemvat, then Hari, then Videha, then Ramyak, Hiranyavat, and last is Eravat. And now we will know that now we will know the names of 6 Mahaparvats. So first is Himvan, Mahahimvan, Nishad, Neel, Rukmi, and last is Shikari. There are also 14 rivers flowing from this river, flowing from these Mahaparvats. After that, there is one Sumeru Parvat also. The height of this Parvat is of 99,000 yojan. Then now this Dweep is surrounded by Lavan Samudra from all sides. So Lavan Samudra is why do the Lavan Samudra is known as Lavan Samudra? Because Lavan means salt. The taste of this water of this ocean is like salty. That's why this is known as Lavan Samudra. Then second is Dhatki Khand Dweep. The Lavan Ocean is surrounded by Dhatki Khand Dweep from 4 directions. This Dhatki Khand Dweep is 2 times bigger than Lavan Samudra. Means the area of Dhatki Khand Dweep is of 4 lakh yojan. There is also one tree present in it known as Dhatki Vriksh. That's why this that because of this only the dweep is named as Dhatkikhand Dweep. There are also two Merus in it, Vijay Meru and Achal Meru. The height of this Merus from the earth level is of 84,000 yojan each. Then next comes the Kalodadi Ocean. This ocean surrounds Dhatkikhand Dweep from four directions. This is also 2 times bigger than Dhatkikhand Dweep. Means the area of this ocean is of 8 lakh yojan. Then comes the third dweep named Pushkarvar Dweep. This dweep surrounds Kalodadi Ocean from 4 sides. There is also one tree named Pushkar Vriksh. Because of this only this dweep is named as Pushkarvar Dweep. There are 2 Merus in it, Vidyunmali Meru and Mandar Meru. The height of these Merus are also same, 84,000 yojan. So now we have discussed about now we have discussed about the dweeps and oceans in Dhaidweep. So now we will know how many parvats are there. So first parvat is Vakshargiri Parvat, then Gajdant Parvat. This it is named Gajdant because of its shape like elephant's teeth. Then Vijayarth Parvat, then Ishwakar, Kulachal Parvat, then Ishwakar, then Vrishabhachal Parvat. The Chakravarti writes his name after winning the 6 khands to show his victory on this mountain. And lastly is Manushottar Parvat. No human being can cross this mountain range. That's why this is named as Manushottar Parvat. So, by this good thought of acquiring salvation, I would like to end my topic here. Jai Jineन्द्र.
Thank you, Virajan Nidate, for telling us about how Dhaidweep is formed. In fact, he told how deeps are formed, the location of Parvat, Sarovars, and rivers, etc. Here is one information for everyone. You all must have to note down important points, which is told by our today's speaker. We randomly call any student to represent the points of any speaker.
Moving ahead, I would like to call Ojas Jain, who will represent his topic, which is General Introduction of Jambudweep.
Om Namah, respected Chairman, Om Namah, respected Chairman, sir, Chief Guest, audience, and to the whole Jai Jineन्द्r. I am Ojas Jain, and I am truly honored to be a part of today's gathering. And in today's gathering, my topic is general information of Jambudweep. So first, let us know that why the part of land is named Jambudweep. It is named on the name of tree Jambu. It is located in north side of Sumeru Parvat, and it is 8 lakh yojan high. Jambudweep is the first dweep of the Dhaidweep, and it is 1 lakh yojan. Its radius is 1 lakh yojan. And it consists of 6 parvat, 7 kshetra, 14 rivers, and in the middle of Vidya Kshetra there is Sumeru Parvat. Jambudweep is surrounded with Lavanasambhu. Inside the Jambudweep there are 6 mountains, also called Kulachal, which divides 7 kshetra. So the name of 6 mountains are Himvan, Mahimvan, Nishad, Neel, Rukmi, and Shikri. Now the name of 7 kshetra which divides through 6 mountains are Bharat, Hemvat, Hari, Vidya, Hiranyavat, Airavat. We live inside the Bharat Kshetra, which is divided into 6 parts through Vijayar Parvat and the river Ganga and Sindhu. These rivers are not the rivers which flows in India. These rivers are 14, flow from 6 Parvat we have discussed before. The name of rivers are Ganga, Sindhu, Rohit, Rohitasya, Harit, Harikanta, Sita, Sitoda, Nari, Narkanta, Swarnakula, Rupakula, Rakta, and the last one was Raktoda. Then there are 6 sarovars by which these 14 rivers start to flow. The name of sarovars are Padma, Mahapadma, Tigich, Keshri, Pundrik, and the last one Mahapundrik. The first sarovar located on Himvan Parvat, second sarovar located on Mahahimvan Parvat, third sarovar located on Nishad Parvat, fourth sarovar located on Neel Parvat, fifth sarovar located on Rukmi Parvat, and sixth sarovar located on Shikri Parvat. In this, the river named Ganga, Rohit, Harit, Nari, Sita, Rakta, and Swarnakula, these are flows east side and merge to the Lavanya Samudra. The remaining rivers named Sindhu, Rohitasya, Harikanta, Sitoda, Narkanta, Rupakula, and Raktoda flows west side. In Tatvar Sutra, Acharya Uma Swami writes in 28th Sutra of third Adhyay that Ganga Sindhu have approximately 14,000 other rivers joined with them. Rohitasya have 28 other rivers joined with them. Harit and Harikanta have 56,000 other rivers joined with them. Sita and Sitoda have 84,000 other rivers joined with them. Nari and Narkanta have 56,000 other rivers joined with them. And Swarnakula, Rupakula have approximately 28,000 other rivers joined with them, and the last Rakta and Raktoda have approximately 14,000 rivers joined with them. Now there is one more thing special in north of Vijayarth mountain at a mid-Malech part. There is a mountain called Vrashpachal which contains the name of past Chakravarti. From all these we got the general information of Jambudweep. Thank you and have a nice day.
I would like to draw the attention of chairman that Ojas was our instant speaker, but he presented a very good topic, so everyone should welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you, Ojas, to give us information about Jambudweep, why it is named the Jambudweep, and it is surrounded by Lavan Samudra, such as the shape of Bengal, and also tell us about Sumeru.
Now in the speaker's order, I would like to call Agam Gadekar. He is going to cover his topic, which is where do we exactly live?
आदि पुरुष आदिश जन आदि सुविधि करतार धर्म धुरंधर परम गुरु नमो आदि अवतार. Om Namah. Jai Jinendra to everyone present in this weekly seminar. Chairman, chief guest, judge, and to all the listeners. Today in this weekly seminar I am going to present a topic that questions where do we live. So, we have studied since our primary classes that there is a geoid-shaped structure in which we live, called the earth. But telling you an interesting fact that where our Jain geography starts from where the science ends. Firstly, coming to the Lokakash, where the life does not exist, and the only thing exists there is the Akash Dravya. Going further, there is the Lokakash, where all the life forms and all the six Dravya exist, also known as the three world and the three lok of the dimensions 14 Raju in the length. In the Trilok, there is a cuboid structure, which is known as the Trasnadi. It has the dimension of 14 Raju. And it is the zone where all the Trasjiv means which means the Jeev from more than one senses live in this zone. Now, let's discuss how is this Trilok divided into three divisions. In the Madhyalok, in the middle of the Trilok lies the Madhyalok. In the top lies the Urdhvalok. And in the bottom of the Trilok lies the Adholok. And it is the Madhyalok where we all live. Now, you might be raising a question in your mind that do we live in entire Madhyalok, or there is a specific region where we live? So, answering to your question, I would like to tell you that there are uncountable continents and oceans known as the Asankhya Dvip Samudra. In the Asankhya Dvip Samudra, we have the Dhaidip, which is made up of 2.5 continents and 2 oceans, namely Jambudvip, Lavan Samudra, Dhatkhikhand Dvip, Kalodadi Samudra, and at last Pushkararth Dvip completes the Dhaidip. Now, zooming into the center of the Dhaidip comes the Jambudvip. It is surrounded by the Lavan Samudra. As Viraj has told why it is called the Lavan Samudra, I would like to move further. In the Jambu Kshetra, we have 7 divisions, which are called 7 Kshetra. They are running from north to south. In the north, we have three Kshetra, namely Airavat Kshetra, Hiranyavat Kshetra, and the Ramyak Kshetra. In the center of the Jambudvip lies the Vidya Kshetra, and in the south there are Hari Kshetra, Himvan Kshetra, and in the southernmost part lies the Bharak Kshetra. Now, in the southernmost part of the Jambudvip is the Bharat Kshetra with 6 divisions, and the dimensions of Bharat Kshetra is 526 plus 6 upon 19 yojan. Now let's discuss how is this Bharat Kshetra divided into 6 parts. From the center of the Bharat Kshetra runs a mountain called Vijayardh Parvat, which divides it into 2 parts. Further, followed by Sindhu River and Ganga River, which divides the Bharat Kshetra into 6 parts. And these 6 parts are 1 Aryakhand and 5 Milechkhand. The Aryakhand is in the southernmost part of the Bharat Kshetra, and the 5 Milechkhand are in the north, northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. Now, let's talk deeply about the Aryakhand. The Aryakhand is about the dimension 238 plus 3 upon 19 yojan. And talking deeply, 1 yojan is equals to 4,000 miles. And when we multiply 238 plus 3 upon 19 into 4,000, we find that it is more than 9 lakh and 52,000. So this is the dimension of Aryakhand in miles. Now, according to the scientist, the place where we live is only about dimensions 12,736 in diameter, in kilometer. But Jain geography states that the world discovered by scientists is very less compared to what the real world is. You might be raising a question that we have read about the earth and what is its shape like geoid and all. So what is earth and what is its actual shape and where it lies? So this is very interesting that in the Aryakhand, there is a huge mass of water and rising 500 yojan from the sea level lies a semicircular structure known as the earth, also known as the Prithvi. Known as the Prithvi. Going into the earth, we find many countries including our India, which is also known as the Bharat. Some of you might not know why India is named as Bharat. It is named after the king Rishabdev, who later became the Tirthankar. His child's name was Bharat, who was the first Chakravarti in this Avsarpani Yog. And the Bharat is named after Bharat Chakravarti. Going into the India, we find many states, including our MP, Madhya Pradesh. In the MP, there are many cities, including Indore. In the Indore, there is a dome-shaped structure called Dhaideep, which is a model of the Dhaideep Rachna. And this is the place where we are right now sitting and listening to this weekly gathering. And this is the place where we are right now living. So I hope that we all of us get out of this birth cycle and attain salvation. With these good thoughts, I would like to end my speech. Thank you.
Now I think you all are aware with this. Where do we exactly live? He tells that where do we exactly live? And interesting thing and the new thing is that our earth and what is shaped. The semicircle surrounded in water 500 yojan above sea level.
Let me move forward to our next speaker. I would like to call Hardik Jain. His topic is how many Akratim Chaityalayas are in Dhaideep and where are they situated?
I vote to all Siddhas. 80 Panchmerus tall and bright, Vakchargri shining in light. Vijayarth peak, temple grants, 4 on Manusottar proudly stands. 300 spars calm the soul, make the broken sprite whole. To see like jinn, to truly know, is to let the soul to wisdom grow. Good morning, respected chairman, honorable chief guest, and our loving audience. As we know that we are here for weekly speech, and the topic of our speech is Dhaideepa unprecedented structure, in which my topic is how many Akratim Chaityalayas are in Dhaideep and where they are situated. Before knowing how many Akratim Chaityalayas are in Dhaideep and where they are situated, it is necessary to know what is Akratim Chaityalaya. What is the meaning of Akratim Chaityalaya? So Akratim Chaityalaya means the temple which are eternal and not made by anyone. And if we split the word Akratim, so we get A and Kratim, in which A means not and Kratim means nahi. Kratim means made by anyone. And if we split the word Chaityalaya, so we get Chaitya and Alay, in which Chaitya means Lord and Alay means the place to live. So if we connect these words, so we get a temple of Lord which is not made by anyone is known as Akratim Chaityalaya. So now we have understand what is Akratim Chaityalaya. So now we will moving towards our main pointer or main topic, which is how many Akratim Chaityalays are in Dhaideep and where they are situated. So firstly, in Dhaideep there are 390 Akratim Chaityalaya, and now we will understand where they are situated. In Dhaideep there are 5 Merus, and the name of the Merus are Sudarshan Meru, Vijay Meru, Achal Meru, Mandar Meru, and Vidunmali Meru. And in each Meru, there are 16 Akritim Chaityalaya. In each Meru, there are 16 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 80 Akritim Chaityalaya of 5 Meru. And then there are Vakshar mountain. These mountains are situated at the east and western part of Videhi region. And in Jambudip, there are 16 Vakshar mountain. And in Dhatikand, there are 32 Vakshar mountain. And similarly, in Pushkarard, there are 32 Vakshar mountain. And in each Vakshar mountain, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 80 Akritim Chaityalaya Vakshar mountain. And then there are a Gajdant mountain. First, these mountains are situated beside the Meru. We have studied, we have know about Merus, and these mountains are situated beside it, beside the Merus. And in each Meru, there are 4 Gajdant mountain. And in each Gajdant mountain, there is 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 20 Akritim Chaityalaya of Gajdant Parvat. And then there are a Vijayarth Parvat or Vijayarth mountain. At first, these mountains are situated at the center of Bharat region. And secondly, these mountains are made up of silver. And some precious jewels are attached on it. And in Jambudip, there are 34 Vijayarth Parvat. And in Vijayarth and in Dhatikand, there are 68 Vijayarth Parvat. Similarly, in Pushkarard, there are 68 Vijayarth Parvat. And in each Vijayarth Parvat, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 170 Akritim Chaityalaya of Vijayarth mountain. And then there is a Kalachal mountain. Kalachal mountain means the 6th large mountain which divide the Jambudip into 7 parts is known as Kalachal mountain. These mountains are situated between the 2 regions. And in Jambudip, there are 6 Kalachal mountain. And in Dhatikand, there are 12 Kalachal mountain. And in Pushkarar, there are similarly 12 Kalachal mountain. And in each Kalachal mountain, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So also we get a count of 30 Akritim Chaityalaya of Kalachal mountain. And then there are a Kuru region. Kuru region means the area between the 2 Gajdant Parvat are known as a Kuru region. We have already studied about Kuru region and we have already studied about Kuru region. And in Jambudip, there are 2 Kuru region. And in Dhatikand, there are 4 Kuru region. Similarly, in Pushkarard, there are also 4 Kuru region. And in each Kuru region, there is a 1 Salmali tree. And in each Salmali tree, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 10 Akritim Chaityalaya of Kuru region. And then there is a Ishwakar mountain. And there is a Ishwakar mountain. There are 2 Ishwakar mountain in Dhatikand, and there are 2 Ishwakar mountain in Pushkarad. And in each Ishwakar mountain, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. In each Ishwakar mountain, there is a 1 Akritim Chaityalaya. So we get a count of 4 Akritim Chaityalaya of Ishwakar mountain. And lastly, there is a Manusottar Parvat. We can say it as a boundary line for the Manushya or the humans. And the mountain and these mountains are, and this mountain is situated at the center of Pushkarard Deep and at the last of the Pushkarard. And in the Manusottar mountain, there are 4 Akritim Chaityalaya at each direction. By knowing how many Kritim Chaityalayas are in Dhaidip and where they are situated, we can stop the birth cycle and attain the salvation. With this feeling, I am ending my topic or speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Hardik. He told us that Akratim Chaityalayas teach us that scaredness live in not just in store and monitor. I would like to draw the attention of chairman and all of you that the poem which Hardik presented at the beginning of his speech was written by him himself. Everyone please welcome him with a round of applause.
Now moving towards Sanskar. But unfortunately, Sanskar is not present here. So he has sent us his speech video, which is displayed on the screen. His topic is introduction about prevailing 20 Tirthankaras and 30 Chauvisi.
Om Namah. Respected Chairman, Honorable Chief Guest and loving audience. So, as we are here for our weekly seminar in this, today's topic is the unprecedented structure of Thaidip. In this, my topic is Intro to Prevail 20 Tirthankaras and 30 set of 24 Tirthankaras. So let's start. So the first question arises, where does these Tirthankaras live? These Tirthankaras live in Vidya Kshetras. Now, second question arises, how many Vidya Kshetras are there and where they located? So there are 5 Vidya Kshetras and they are located as follows. One is in Jambudvip, 2 are in Ghatki Dweep and 2 are in Pushkara Dweep. Now, as we move further, we know that we have 5 Vidya Kshetras and each have 32 cities. So if we multiply 5 into 32, the answer we get is 160. Now there are 160 Vidya Kshetras and in each Vidya Kshetra there is 1 Tirthankara. So if we go max to max, there will be 160 Tirthankaras, and if we go minimum, there will be 20 Tirthankaras. That's why they are known to be present 20 Tirthankaras or Vidyaman 20 Tirthankaras. Now, as we move further, I have some fact about these Tirthankaras. Fact number 1. In every Vidya Kshetra, there are 6 islands. From that, the Tirthankara child always born in Arya Kshetra or Arya Island. Now, fact number 2. In Thaidip, there are 5 Merus. From the each side of the East Meru, the Vidya Kshetra will be called East Vidya Kshetra or located in East. Now, as we move further, I have fact number 3. Fact number 3. These two Vidya Kshetra are divided by 2 legendary rivers, Sita and Sitoda, into 16 islands. So, the total is 32 Vidya Kshetras. Now, as we move further, I have my another topic, 30 set of 24 Tirthankaras. Now, let's start. So the first question arises, where does these 30 set of 24 Tirthankaras live? They are live in 10 Kshetras, 5 Bharat and 5 Eravat. Now, there are 3 timelines, past, present and future. So if we multiply 10 into 3, we will get 30. Now, we have 30 sets and each have 24 Tirthankaras. If we multiply 30 into 24, the answer we get is 720. So now there are 720 Tirthankaras. Now, I have some fact about these 720 Tirthankaras. Fact number 1. These 720 Tirthankaras are known to be 30 set of 24 Tirthankaras of Trinity, means 3 timelines, past, present and future. So, that's all from my side. I hope you will carry my topic further with you and move towards salvation. Jai Hind.
Sanskar tells about where the 20 Tirthankaras are prevailed and how these location divided.
Now we came forward our 7th speaker. I would like to call Aviral Jain. He covered the topic, which is deep introduction of 5 Merus.
Good morning, respected chairman, honorable chief guest and loving audience. As you know that we are here for the weekly seminar. Today's seminar topic is Thaidip, the unprecedented structure. In that, my main topic is deep introduction of 5 Merus. Before discussing about 5 Merus, we will know that what is Meru. Meru is a Hindi word which means mountain. In this world, there are 5 Merus which are located in the center of the world, out of which first one is Sumeru, which is in the center of Jambudvip in Vidhi region. It is also known as center of the world. Second one is Vijay Meru, which is situated in East Dhatki Gand in Vidhi region. Third one is Achal Meru, which is situated in Dhatki Gand in Vidhi region. Fourth one is Mandar Meru, which is situated in East Pushkarat in Vidhi region. At last, fifth one is Vidyan Mali Meru, which is situated in West Pushkarat in Vidhi region. These 5 Merus are mainly known for the Janmabhishek of Bal Tirthankaras. Now we will discuss deeply about these 5 Merus. First is Sumeru. Its height is 99,000 yojan and its depth is 1,000 yojan. People say that this mountain is made up of fully gold, but it is not made up of fully gold. The base of this mountain is about 1,000 yojan, which is made up of diamond. The middle part, which is 61,000 yojan, is made up of different types of stones. Upper part, which is 36,000 yojan, is made up of gold. This mountain has a peak which is mainly known as Chulika, is of 40 yojans, which is made up of Nilkant Mani, which is also a type of gem or stone. Now, before the understanding more about these 5 Merus, we will understand what is yojan. Yojan is a unit of measurement in Jainism. Yojan is classified in 2 types, Vyavahar Yojan and Praman Yojan. Now, what is Praman Yojan? 6,000 kilometers is 1 Praman Yojan. And now, what is Vyavahar Yojan? We can say 38 crore 40 lakhs fingers, or we can say 40 lakh bow is 1 Praman Yojan. Now, we will discuss about remaining 4 Merus. The foundation, which is mainly known as depth, of these 4 Merus inside the earth is 1,000 yojan. And these 4 Merus have a peak which is mainly known as Chulika, is about 40 yojan, which is similar to Sumeru mountain. However, the height of these 4 Merus on the earth, which is mainly known as Chitra Prithvi, is about 84,000 yojan. If we added depth and the height of this Meru, we get 85,000 yojan. So we can say that the remaining 4 Merus is all about 85,000 yojan height. Now we will discuss the 4 forests in these 5 mountains. First one is Bhadrasal forest, which is situated on the base. Second is Nandan forest, which is 500 yojan from the Bhadrasal forest in upward direction. Third one is Somras forest, which is 62,500 yojan from Nandan forest in upward direction. At last, fourth one is Panduk forest, which is 36,000 yojan from Somras forest in upward direction. This Panduk forest consists of 4 Shilas. First, Panduk Shila, second, Panduk Kamala, third, Rakta Shila, and fourth, Rakta Kamala. The Tirthankaras of Bharat region have their Janmabhishek on Panduk Shila. Second, the Tirthankaras of Paschim Vidhe have their Janmabhishek on Panduk Kamala, as well as the Tirthankaras of Airavat Kshetra have their Janmabhishek on Rakta Shila. At last, the Tirthankaras of Purva Vidhe have their Janmabhishek on Rakta Kamala. Now we will talk about the length and breadth of this Shilas. The length of the Shilas is 100 yojan and breadth of these Shilas are 50 yojan. Or we can say average height of these Shilas are 80 yojan. These Shilas are diminished. It is divided into 3 parts. Middle part is known as throne and both sides as Bhadrasan. The base expansion of these Shilas is 500 bow and the upper part expansion is 250 bow. During the Janmabhishek, the child Tirthankar sat on the throne, and on the right substructure, Saudharmin sit. On the left structure, Indra sit and perform the Janmabhishek with purity. Now, all have a doubt that Janmabhishek water is a normal water. No, it is not a normal water. The water is brought by the Devas from Kshir Sagar. We have discussed about the height and the Shilas which are in these mountains. Now we will discuss how many Akritim Chaityalayas are present in these mountains. In 5 mountains, there are 16 Akritim Chaityalaya. In each Chaityalaya, there are 10 statue of Lord Aryant. In each mountain, there are 4 forests and there are 4 directions. In each direction, there is 1 Chaityalaya. Accordingly, there are 4 forests and each 4 forests have 4 Chaityalayas. So, 4 into 4, 16. 16 Akritim Chaityalaya in 1 mountain. This formation of 16 temples are same in 5 mountains. So we can say that 80 Akritim Chaityalaya in these 5 mountains. As you know that one Chaityalaya consists of 108 statue of Lord Arihanta. So 80 into 108 is 8,640. Means 8,640 statue of Lord Arihanta in 80 Akritim Chaityalaya. All the idols of gods are not it's form of common arihant. They are not belonging to any specific or any individual. They are uncreated and they are eternal. Concluding this, I hope the move out of this word cycle and attain the salvation. I would like to end my topic. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you, Aviral, for giving us this very important information. He told, in this world we have 5 Merus, and they were situated in the middle of the world.
Moving ahead, I would like to call Nitya Jain. He is going to cover his topic, which is benefit of knowing about Dhaideep.
Good morning, respected chairman, judges, chief guest, listeners, and my dear friends. Today, we are glad to have weekly regional session in which my topic is what are the benefits of knowing about Dhaideep. Have you ever thought what are the benefits of knowing about Dhaideep? If not, I will make you curious to know the answer of that question. But before starting my main topic, my first question to you is, would you like to play rapid fire game with me? So my first question is, in which city do you live? And in which state does your city come? In which country does your state come? In which continent does your country come? On which planet does your continent come? Where does your earth come? Where is your solar system? And where is your Milky Way galaxy? So my last question to you is, where is our universe? Now someone would say, Nitya Bhaiya, universe is a place where everything is present. Nothing is greater than that. Isn't it? Yes, it's not like that. Because according to the most practical religion, do you know about which religion am I talking about? Yes, it's Jainism. According to Jainism, universe is just like a dot in this teen lok, or we can say lokakash. In fact, one more thing is greater than that, which is alokakash. Now, are you getting curious to know the answer of that question? Don't take tension, because we have Dhaideep Janayatan, in which Dhaideep's exact structure is present, which is made with the help of Jain scriptures. Now, I will answer your first question, that where do we live? So, we live in Dhaideep, which has a part Jambudweep, which includes Bharat Kshetra, which has many parts. Among them, we live in Aryakhand, which includes our solar system and our earth on which we live. But we think that our universe, that our world is still universe only. But by understanding Dhaideep, we understand that our world is very much bigger than we think. In fact, we think that world's biggest mountain is Mount Everest with a height 8,849 meters. But if we compare it with Sudarshan Meru, it will not be even visible. And have you heard about the rivers Ganga and Sindhu? Yes or no? How big are they, isn't it? But if we compare them with Ganga and Sindhu river present in Dhaideep, we are comparing the rivers present in Dhaideep, Ganga and Sindhu are that much bigger that if we combine 7 oceans present on earth and then compare it with those rivers, then also the river size will be that much greater that we cannot see that 7 oceans. Science also says that earth revolves around the sun. But according to Jainism, sun revolves around the earth, and sun is a Viman. Viman is a Hindi word which means a place where Dev lives. Science also says that we reached on the moon and states that moon is also kind of a planet. But according to Jainism, moon is also a Viman. We think that Dev only live in Urdalok. But by understanding Dhaidweep, we know that Dev also live in Dhaidweep. Do you know how much big is our Dhaidweep? Wait, I will tell you. In Dhaidweep, Jambudweep is present, which is of 1 lakh yojans. Lower Samudra is of 2 lakh yojan in one direction. Dharti Khand is of 4 lakh yojans in one direction. Kalud Samudra is of 8 lakh yojans in one direction. And we have half Pushkarvar Dweep, which is of 8 lakh yojans. We usually think that only human can build temples. But by understanding Dhaidweep, we get to know about Akratim Chaityales. Do you know how many Akratim Chaityales are there in Dhaidweep? Yes, there are 398 Akratim Chaityales in Dhaidweep. Let's understand how they are 398. 80 of Merus, 80 of Vrikshargiri, 20 of Gajdant, 170 of Vidyarthgiri, 30 of Kolachal, 10 of Kuruvraksh, 4 of Ishvakar, and 4 of Manushottar. We can also understand them by one shlok. पंचमेरु के 80 हैं व 80 हैं वृक्षारगिरी, गजदंतों के 20 70 हैं विजयातगिरी, कोलाचलों के 30 कहे हैं, कुरुवृक्षों के 10 जानो, ईश्वरकार 4 के ऊपर 4 जिनाले ही मानो, एक मानुषोत्तर पर्वत है उस पर 4 जिनाले हैं, 3 शतक थाड़ वे जनाले पूरे ही मन भावन है. We also think that by understanding Dhaidweep, we can also know the location of our Vidyaman 20 Tirthankaras, that where does they prevail. We will understand them also by one shlok, which is जम्बूद्वीप में 4 जिनेश्वर राजते, खंडघाती में है खंडघातिकी में है 8 विराजते, पुष्करात में भी हैं 8 विराजमान, समवशरण में है अति ही शोभायमान. We today science is growing very fast. They are upgrading our space vehicles to explore more space, but they don't know that they cannot cross Manushottar Parvat. Manushottar Parvat's height is 1721 yojans in tallness, and in deepness it is of 430 yojans. I hope you all have understood the benefits of knowing about Dhaidweep. Thank you.
Thank you, Nit. He told us the benefit of knowing about Dhaidweep. He described it very nicely that I don't need to summarize him. As we decided before that we will randomly call anyone to represent the important points. Anyone of you had written 10 to 15 points of our speaker. Please raise your hand. I would like to call Aradhya Gwaliar from class 9th.
Jai Jnane. I have written the points of the speech of Aram Dhaidweep. So, the world are neither be created and nor be destroyed. The 3 worlds are Urdalok, Madhyalok and Adholok. In Urdalok there are 16 heavens and 9 Grabyak and 9 Anudish and 5 Anuttars. And upon there is a Siddhashila where they have no attachment and have infinite knowledge. In Madhyalok, humans and animals etc. live in Madhyalok. In Adholok there are 7 hells. People get punishment for their bad karmas. In the middle of the 3 worlds there is a Trasnadi, and there are 5 Sthavar Jeeves, which are Jalkayak, Agnikayak, Vayukayak, Vanaspatikayak and Prithvi Kayak. Jai Hind.
Before ending today's religious seminar, I would request our today's chief guest to come forward and share his reviews with us. And I request Honorable Chief Guest to say something about our today's seminar. Mr. Suddhatmam ji from Dubai, please come and share reviews with us.
Jai Hind everyone. This was a wonderful session, very thoughtful, kind of innovative. I haven't heard such religious ceremonies, such lectures in English. It's been for first time, and we are preparing ourselves, catapult, launch ourselves in the future. We would have different set of audience, basically a wider audience, not bounded by boundaries. It's not just India, but many places you could reach your audience. So kudos to that. Thank you very much. It was so wonderful, and I was like, it was inspiring to hear such young people, young minds speaking with clarity, with like the thought you have, whatever thought you have, like, you know, if you have 100% clarity of thought, only 90% comes into the speech. But I could see a lot of you spoke with very good clarity, and I'm sure like you're gonna go places from here. If I speak of I'm not sure if I was audible or not. Should I repeat, or I would just continue what I thought? All right. So I think, I spoke my heart, I spoke my mind, and it's very beautiful to hear such young minds speaking with such confidence and clarity. Although this was, there was an evaluation to each student, but maybe some of you would get more like a higher rank than others, but it's not just that anybody is losing. In fact, everybody is winning in this speech seminar, because ultimately everyone is going more towards learning, self-introspection, and obviously the skill enhancement that's each of you is doing. And mind you, those 8 people who came forward and spoke are like our superstars. Thank you very much. Just because I was observing some of, like all of you, and I just wanted to give some personal suggestions to few students. Maybe I have made some note, if I can get that. That's one. Although you all are lucky to have our Panditji, Dr. Praminji Shastri, like just no, like I don't stand anywhere when he's here to judge, to teach you. You're so much lucky. I tell you, like there are very few people who are of such cadre. So truly you're lucky. And I used to appreciate, my family used to appreciate from far off when Panditji used to speak, and his knowledge on Teen Lok is like, as you know, like he has a PhD on it, and you spoke on that part. So like you have the best teachers that's possible with you. Although like there's no much suggestion, all of you were very good. Just a few things like, and some of you actually, while you delivered the speech, you also connected how you get salvation by knowing this. So that was a very good point, and few students just did make the point when they were ending the comment. So I think it's better that you end a comment with how it's beneficial to us. there was some, statistically, there was something which I doubted whether it is 99 yojan or it's 100 yojan, the Sumeru Parvat, Panditji. So I was getting some like disconnect between two people when somebody spoke about 99 yojan as the length. 99,000 yojan was the length of Sumeru Parvat versus somebody spoke of 1 lakh. So there was, I think, this needs some correction. And somebody spoke of radius as 1 lakh yojan for Jambudweep. It's not, I don't think it's radius, it's the area. Although the person who spoke this had a very sweet voice, so thank you for that. And some of you delivered the speech without actually looking into the paper. You had a very good eye contact and the hand gestures, that was very good. Just one suggestion for the person who did the recording, Sanskar. Actually, he did this recording with this, like this orientation. If you do this, it would come better in the presentation. And because anywhere you go, you know, you will be speaking on the mic. If there are multiple speakers, the height of the mic would be different. So who is short in height can always ask, or who is taller in height, they can always speak to adjust the mic. That would actually help you deliver or help you have your posture better. So just suggestion for taller or shorter students. Although all in all, it was a very good session, very inspiring. Thank you very much. And I wish you a bright future ahead. Thank you.
I request Miss Vidushi Didi to say something about our today's seminar.
Jai Jinendra everyone. It was great honor being here within every one of you, or in between all of you. And it was immense pleasure that Panditji found me capable of this post. Actually, every one of you spoke very well. It was very hard to make the judgment, but I found that every one of you have a great confidence level, and some of you had a very great presentation skill. Some of you had very great style of presenting or connecting with the people. And I wish you all the best for your future. And that's
Thank you. To introduce our mistakes. Thank you. I request Vidushi Sachi Didi to come forward and say something about our today's seminar.
Jai Jinendra, I feel so honored to be here, and it's really great to see these kids. And it's really great to see these kids learn so much about Teen Lok, and and I'm really impressed with the level of confidence and understanding with which they are presenting their topic. And especially the last three students, they explained the topic with great clarity. So that shows that you have actually understood the topic and you have analyzed it and compared it with what we are seeing right now and with the worldly knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. And thank you to the Panditji for coordinating and having me here. Jai Janet.
Thank you all the chief guests to introduce our mistake. And by ending today's seminar, I requested Panditji to come and tell our mistake to everyone so that we can improve ourselves for next time. And I request him to declare two best speaker among our 8 speakers.
Namaste Debhya. Today is the seminar of in English language. 8 students has given the speech in English. So I am very happy to listen you because you have given the lecture, you have given the speech in English. 3 deciders are here. They have giving the marks. First is Sri Suddhatam ji from Dubai. And second, Vidushi scholar Sachi from Khandwa. And third, Vidushi Vishuddhi from Dhaideep, Indore. They have given the decision, they have given the time. So we are very thankful to all. Just I am going to announce 2 special speakers' name. They have given the marks. Actually, all the students, they have given good speech, but we have to announce 2 students only. First is Aviral Jain, and they will get prize from our chief guests. Please send the prize. Please, camera. Aviral Jain and second name is Nitya Jain. Actually, some students they have given nice speech like Hardik Jain from 10th class, 8th class Agam Gadekar and, 9th, okay, 9th Agam Gadekar from 9th class, Arham Jain Dhaiti from 9th class. They have given nice speeches, but 2 only we have to decide, so we have announced 2 students only. But I think you all have to do nice practice, you have to do more practice. And from class 8th, are you ready in future? Who are ready? Please raise your hand. Oh, very nice. Can you give the lecture, give the speech in English? Are you ready? Oh, very good. Yes, now just I am calling one student also, those has given summarize, hai na? He has summarized the topic of this Goshti, Aradhya Jain. Aradhya Jain from Gwalior, please come on the stage and he will get the prize from the chief guests. Yes. Again, we are very thankful to all. Mr. Suddhatam ji from Dubai, Vidushi Sachi ji from Khandwa, and Vidushi Visuddhi ji from Dhaideep. And one name on also I want to announce, Mr. Sahaj Shastri, Sahaj Bhaiya, because he has, yes, okay. He has given more the chance for the students, and 8 students also, they are very thankful. We are thankful to all. Again, now I am, yes, announcing the seminar. थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बोलूं क्या? इंग्लिश में वो मज़ा ही नहीं आता, कितना ही बोल लो, ऐसा लगता है पता नहीं क्या चल रहा है। जो भावनाएं हिंदी में आ सकती हैं वो इंग्लिश में कितनी कर लो आती नहीं हैं। कई चीज़ें बोलना चाहते हैं लेकिन वो बस सेलेक्टेड रहता है। हमारे जो निर्णायकों हैं उन्होंने भी थोड़ा थोड़ा बोल के छोड़ दिया। इंग्लिश सबको अच्छी आती है, बहुत बढ़िया, लेकिन वो मज़ा ही इतना नहीं आता, उन्होंने भी कम ही बोला। चलिए, पुनः सभी को धन्यवाद। और अपनी बहुत अच्छी इंग्लिश में गोष्ठी हुई, आगे भी इसी तरह होती रहे, आप इसी तरह से प्रवचन करते रहें, ऐसी भावना के साथ सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और अभी हमारे सभी निर्णायक मंडल चीफ गेस्ट की ओर उनकी स्वीकृति से आज की इस गोष्ठी के समापन की घोषणा करते हैं। बोलिए ढाईदीप जिनायतन में विराजमान सर्व जिनेंद्र भगवंतों की जय हो। चलिए।